All right, let's put all of this together that we just learned for the chambers, the valves, and the blood vessels together, and look at the flow of blood through the heart. So first, remember you're looking at this from the point of view like the person is standing in front of you. So you have right side, left side. Step number 1 is through the superior and inferior, superior on top, inferior on bottom, vena cava, vena for vein because it's bringing blood into the heart. Through those two vessels, blood enters from the body and is brought into the right atrium. Remember, you can figure out the atrium because it's shaped like an A, and it's on the right side, so we have right atrium. Step number 2, that blood exits the right atrium and moves into the right ventricle by passing through the tricuspid valve. Tricuspid valve is also the right atrioventricular valve because it's the valve in between the right atrium and right ventricle. So now the blood is in the right ventricle, which is shaped like a V. And that brings us to step 3. In step 3, the blood from the right ventricle is pumped through the pulmonary valve. So it enters the pulmonary artery, and the pulmonary artery will carry the blood to the lungs. Notice there is a right and left side. So this is going to go out to the left lung, and this side will go out to the right lung. Okay, from step 3, when the blood was taken to the lungs, the carbon dioxide that was in the blood is dropped off in the lungs so that it can be exhaled, and oxygen is picked up from the lungs upon inhale. Then the pulmonary veins, shown on this side and this side, they carry oxygenated blood from the lungs back into the left atrium. Okay, so we are here in the atrium on the left side. Then the blood moves down through the bicuspid valve into the left, again, V-shaped ventricle. And lastly, we have the blood coming from the left ventricle with these really thick muscular walls that contract really hard, and when that happens, the blood is pushed out of the left ventricle through the aortic valve and into the aorta. Notice the aorta is really large. It's the largest artery in your body. It curves upwards because these branches here are going to bring blood out to the body, like the upper body. And then the main trunk of the aorta keeps going down. It runs behind the heart, so you can't see it, but then it comes down at the bottom here, and that continues all the way down through your abdomen, and then it splits at your legs, and large arteries continue traveling down your legs for the blood to be carried out and down to those parts of the body. Okay, so as the blood is taken out to your body and all those tissues, the oxygen is going to be used by the muscles and all the cells and everything, making ATP, yada, yada, yada. That blood is going to be brought back to the heart by moving through all the veins in your body, and all of those veins eventually converge into either the superior or the inferior vena cava, and then you're right back where you started, that deoxygenated blood coming in through the vena cava into the right atrium. Again, moving down into the right ventricle by passing through the tricuspid valve. Once you're in the right ventricle and your heart contracts, then it's pushed up through the pulmonary valve into the pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery brings it to the right and left lung. That carbon dioxide that was a waste product from cellular respiration, from making ATP, is dropped off in the lungs, and oxygen is picked up from the lungs. And that blood from the lungs is brought back into the heart through the pulmonary veins. Pulmonary veins merge and they drop the blood at the left atrium. left atrium through the bicuspid valve into the left ventricle contracts, blood goes through the aortic valve into the aorta, blood is brought through all the arteries of your body out to the tissues. Again, oxygen is used, carbon dioxide is produced. Again, deoxygenated blood comes back up through the veins and starts all over again.